Okay, good morning everyone. I am Ashwin Kumar. I am the teacher of English subject. We see that the textbook. So ninth standard, the English second language. Got it? Okay, then see we have to see there the content page of this ninth standard. So in this content we see there the three parts. And that first one is the prose, and then second one poem, at the third one that is the supplementary reading. So at that prose session, the first chapter that is the enchanted poem, and then second chapter the three question, and the third chapter the my beginning, and the fourth chapter so whatever we do. So in this four lesson in the first semester, and then poem session, the first poem, the Upagupta, second poem, the Gratefulness. So in this poem, this is the memorization poem. And third one, a girl called Golden. And then fourth one, the Wonderful World. So in these four poems, we studied that at the first semester exam. And then supplementary reading part. So we see to studying the first semester in the two chapters. At that first one, the Aruna Asaf Ali, and then second one, the Happy Cure. So in these are those are all prose, poems, and then supplementary stories to studying on the first semester. And then we go there lesson at that prose part, the first chapter, the Enchanted Poem. So, Enchanted Poem, the story is written by the Rajagopalachari. So, who is Rajagopalachari? We see that. So, Rajagopalachari, we see he was the Rajagopalachari. So, his full name is the Chakravarti Rajagopalachari. He, popularly known as Rajaji, was a great patriot, politician, and thinker also, and author of these many books. His popular books are Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishad, Ramayana, and Mahabharata. In these books, he displayed that intimated very for telling stories and applying their moral principles of the modern times. Okay, this is the short introduction of Chakravarti Rajagopalachari. You see, you remember this, the Rajagopalachari is popularly known as Rajaji. Got it? Yeah. And then and then let us discuss about the lesson the enchanted poem. So enchanted poem means the enchanted means it is the magical spell. Got it? Yeah. And let us the story begins with the background of this Mahabharata. So the lesson is an extract from the Mahabharata. It reflects the character of Yudhishthira in his patience, the kindness, the love for his brother, and intelligence. And then another one character that is the Yaksha. So Yaksha was the Yama, the Lord of Death, who had taken from the Yaksha to Yudhishthira and test his knowledge. Being satisfied there his answers, he blessed him and disposed in the forest. So this is the short introduction, the overall theme of this lesson, the enchanted poem. Okay, let me discuss the end. Let me discuss the whole meaning of the chapter. Okay, see there the first stanza. Okay, dear student, you see careful about the see the textbook, the Enchanted poem, the author Rajagopalachari. So in the Mahabharata, the Pandava lost everything in the game of dice to the Kaurava and had to live in the forest for 12th year. During his period, they had to constantly move from the place to place for satisfy and they meet their daily needs. One day in the 12th year, the Pandavas brothers wandered deep in the forest in pursuit of a deer. Okay, the story the begins with the background history of this Mahabharata. So the story is taken from the extract from this Mahabharata. So one day the Pandavas. So Pandavas, there are the five members. We have to know this. Who are the Pandavas? So what was the name of these Pandavas? At that first one, we have to know that there are the five brothers or five members in this Pandavas. At that first one, the first one is Yudhishthira or Dharmaraya. And then second one that is the Arjuna. And the third one that is the Bhima. And the fourth one that is the Sahadeva. And the last one a younger brother that is the Nakula. So there are the five members in Pandavas. And then how many members of this Kauravas? The Kauravas was 101 members. Got it? Okay, see, one day the Pandavas, one day the Pandavas and Kauravas, he has to play the dice game. We have to know this. We have to play in summer occasion the dice game. So at that dice game, the Pandavas he is failed to play with the dice game or lost that everything also. So the Pandavas they lost the everything in the dice game and he had go for the forest. Go for the forest for the 12th year. 12 years the Pandavas has go for the forest. And that forest he had to constantly move from the place and meet their daily needs in his lives. So at that time, the 12th year in one day, the Pandavas brother he's wandered deep into the forest in pursuit of deer. So when the Pandavas he has to go there in this deep into the forest, he has to see there at the deer. Okay, the first answer. The sun was hot overhead, and five brothers grew more and more very thirsty. The Yudhishthira sat down under a tree to rest and said to Nakula, brother, climb the tree and see where there is any pool or nearby. Nakula climbed the tree, looked around and said, at a little distance, I see water plant and crane. There must be certain be water is there. The first answer says that so when Pandavas he has go there in the deep forest, at that time the sun was hot overhead, and his five brothers he was more and more very thirsty. So thirsty means to drink something to the water or very ಬಾಯಾರಿಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಅದು thirsty ಅಂದರೆ ಬಾಯಾರಿಕೆ. Okay. So his brothers he was very thirsty and tired. He is taken from rest under the tree. So at that time the Yudhishthira said to Nakula to search for the water. And he and Nakula climbed the tree. Climb means ಹತ್ತು ಮರವನ್ನು ಹತ್ತು ಅಂತ the Yudhishthira said to that Nakula, climb the tree where there is any pool nearby. Where there is the pool or river nearby the surrounding. So at that immediately the Nakula climbed the tree and looked around and said, at a little distance, I see the water plant and then crane. So crane means a long white color, long leg and long leg and neck ವೈಟ್ ಕಲರ್ ಬರ್ಡ್ ಈ ಕೊಕ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ನಕುಲ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಸಿ ದೇರ್ at the pool. So he think that there must be a certainly to be water is there. Got it? So this is the, do you understand now? Yeah, this is the first stanza, the meaning. And then we have to see there the second stanza. Look carefully. The Yudhishthira sent him to fetch some water to drink. The Nakula was glad when he got to the place and saw that there was a pool. He was very thirsty himself and so thought of quenching his thirst first before taking water in the quire for his brother. But no sooner he did not dip his hand in his transparent water, he heard a voice which said, stop Nakula, don't drink the water. This pool belongs to me, O son of Madri. Answer my questions and then drink the water. Nakula was surprised, but carried away by his intense thirsty and heedless of this warning. He knelt down and began to drink the water. At once he began to feel terribly drowsy and fell down to appearance dead. So what about the second stanza tells? Okay, when Nakula he is already climbed the tree and searched for that water certainly to be is there. So at that time the Yudhishthira sent him to fetch some water to drink. So Yudhishthira ordered to Nakula to fetch some water to drink. The Nakula glad when he got to the place and saw there was a pool. So when Yudhishthira said to take some water, that time the Nakula he has go there to near on the pool and fetch some water to drink, and glad too when he got the place and saw there was a pool. Nakula also he was very thirsty to himself and thought of quenching the thirsty first before taking the water the quire for his brother. So Nakula he is also very thirsty. So first I can drink the water and then fetch to his water for his brother. But the sooner he did dip his hand in the transparent water. So at that sudden time when Nakula he has to dip in the transparent water. ಸೊ ಶಾಂತವಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಕೊಳ್ಳಕ್ಕೆ ಕೈ ಹಾಕಿ ಇನ್ನೇನು he has to drink that water to satisfy his thirsty. So at that time a one voice, invisible voice is heard. So what did that voice he says that? He heard a voice which said that, stop Nakula, don't drink the water. This pool belongs to me, O son of Madri. So answer my question and then drink the water. Nakula was surprised. So why was that Nakula surprised? Because that voice is invisible. So invisible means ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣದೇ ಇರೋದು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ವಾಯ್ಸು he can hear. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ that Nakula it will be that neglected or heedless that voice. but carried away by his intensive thirsty and heedless of this warning. So Nakula, he is very thirsty and then tired. So he don't care about the invisible voice and then drank the water. So when Nakula drank the water, he knelt down to begin to drink the water. At once he began to feel terribly drowsy and fell down to appearance dead. So when Nakula ignored or heedless the warning of Yaksha, he began to feel terribly drowsy. So what was the meaning of terribly drowsy? It will be the ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಟು ಈ ತಲೆ ತಿರುಗೋದು ಒಂಥರ ಸುಸ್ತಾಗಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ದ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಟೆರಿಬ್ಲಿ ಡ್ರೋಸಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಡೌನ್ ಟು ಅಪಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್ ದ ಡ್ಯಾಡ್. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ನಕುಲ ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಪೋಲ್ or he was heedless of the warning in Yaksha, he fell down terribly drowsy to appearance to the pole, appearance to dead the pole. Yeah, do you understand now? Okay, let us, we have to go there in the third stanza. Look carefully. Yeah, when Nakula did not return for a long time, the Yudhishthira sent Sahadeva to see what the matter was. Sahadeva also ignored the warning. He drank the water and at once dropped down. When Sahadeva too failed to return, the Yudhishthira sent Arjuna to see where the brother had met with any dangerous. The Arjuna went swiftly. He saw his brother lying dead near the pole, heartbroken with grief. He wanted to revenge their death. However, he too was overwhelmed by a monstrous thirsty, the which completed him towards to the fatal pole. At the third stanza tells about that. So when Nakula did not return for a long time, the Yudhishthira, he was worried about the Nakula. So why was Nakula did not return for the time? So the Yudhishthira sent his another one brother, his name is Sahadeva, to see what the matter was. So Sahadeva, he is also search for this Nakula and then go to near in the pole. He was also very thirsty, tired. So Sahadeva to go near the pole to quench his thirsty first. So after that he was taken the water and then Nakula. So Sahadeva also, he was ignored the warning of Yaksha. So ignored. So ignored means careless. ಮಾತನ್ನೇ ಕೇಳದೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ದ. ಸೊ ಅಗೈನ್ ದಟ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಸಹದೇವ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಗ್ನೋರ್ ದ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಯಕ್ಷ and then drank the water, at once dropped down. So when Sahadeva he is go near the water pole, so again that Yaksha's voice is here. Stop Sahadeva, don't drink the water. Answer my question first and then drink the water. So Sahadeva, he is ignored the warning and then drank the water. He is also the fell down to near on the pole. So when Sahadeva he is failed to returning, the Yudhishthira the sent his another own brother Arjuna, where the brothers had met with any dangerous. So Yudhishthira think that in his two brothers, the Sahadeva and then Nakula, he is returning for this long time. He is worried that to Yudhishthira and send the another one brother, his name is Arjuna. So when Yudhishthira sent to Arjuna, or when Yudhishthira says to the Arjuna went the swiftly. So swiftly means the fastly, quick moving. Okay, see, he saw his brother laying dead near the pool. So when Arjuna is go there in the pool, his two brothers. So what was his name? Sahadeva and Nakula. He was dead near in the pool. So when Arjuna he has to see there his brothers was dead in the pool, his heart was broken. Broken with the grief. He wanted to take revenge their death. So who killed my brothers? Come on, stand up with me. I will kill you. I will take a revenge with his brother's death. ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ the Arjuna ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ he was very grief and then the roared at that forest in the pool. However, his too was overwhelmed by the monsterly thirsty, the which completed him towards to the fatal pool. So Arjuna also he was very roaring. He was very heartbroken incident with his brother's death. So he after some time he is also very thirsty. So he is also he is also overwhelmed by the monsterly thirsty. So which completed him towards to the fatal pool again. Okay, stop it now. So these are all the scene first. So how the Yaksha and Yudhishthira's the main characters in that first scene. So how these Pandavas he has go there in the forest. So how did he redeeming the situation in that forest. So these are all in the first scene. And the next day we have to see that. So what did Arjuna do or relief in his brothers another ಬಗ್ಗೆ in my next class we have to study more. Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, next I send the homework of this chapter and then send them to this account. Thank you so much. Okay, take down the homework, dear students. Again, that first question. Who was the author of the lesson Enchanted Pool? The first question. Who was the author in the lesson The Enchanted Pool? Second question. Raja Gopalachari is popularly known as dash. Okay. Yeah. And the third one. Who did Yudhishthira ask to search for water? Okay. Yeah. Next question. What happened to Nakula when he drank the water? What happened to Nakula when he drank the water? Okay, these questions are in your homework, and then write down the homework and then send them to the group. Thank you so much.